Hello everyone, welcome to our new lesson in contrastive analysis. Okay, and it is divided, this lecture is divided into two sections, section 1 and section 2. Here we have section 1. Section 1 and section 2 are extracted from the pamphlet that you have. This is the other pamphlet. I told you about this one the last time we've met. And it is entitled, you will see this title, The Influence of Mother Tongue on Learning English Language by Arab Learners. Okay, and all the Arab learners that are mentioned in this study are real learners. So the study is based on real speakers or real Arab learners who are trying to learn English language as a second language. Okay, oh, these terms or these factors, or here the inflections related to these factors across the Arabic language and the English language, and we will have this applied to these words. The word teacher in English, the English teacher, and the Arabic word muallim. Okay, so in plural masculine. Okay, so you give me the plural masculine form of the word teacher and the word muallim. Okay, how would it be? Okay, I'll give you just a second to think about it. Okay, so the plural masculine form would be teachers, okay, for the word teacher. Okay, for the word muallim, the plural masculine would be muallimun, right? Type. What about the plural feminine? Again, the same, would be teachers. And you notice that teachers and teachers, whether it is plural masculine or feminine, they are exactly the same form. Teachers here and teachers there, right? What about Arabic? Would it be the same, muallimun, or would it be different? Here the inflection is different. Okay, it would be muallimat, as you know. Okay, so muallimat, muallimun, here we have different inflections that distinguish different gender, masculine and feminine, and different number. Okay, so we have the same number, which is plurality. We have plural, but plural masculine differs from plural feminine in Arabic. Okay, the inflections that signals or that distinguish the form, the plural feminine form, is different from that in the plural masculine form, muallimun and muallimat. طيب, let's come to duality, which signals 2. Okay, the number 2. Okay, طيب, teacher, how would it be? Okay, or how would it look like, the form? I'm talking about the form and the inflections. طيب, actually we don't have duality, we don't have dual markers or inflections for or in English. Okay, we don't have this. Instead, what do English speakers do or resort to? They just use the actual number. They say 2 teachers. In this situation, they will say 2 teachers, whether for masculine or for feminine. Okay, 2 teachers for masculine and for feminine. Okay, or just they can say teachers. Okay, all right. What about Arabic? Is it the same situation? Of course not, because Arabic has duality, has this inflection or these inflections, because they differ across whether the word is feminine or masculine. They have different inflections. Okay, let's see how would the word look like. So we have Arabic masculine dual. It would be muallimain, muallimain. Okay, and for the feminine dual, it would be Yes, it is معلمتين. So again, we have different inflections. So Arabic has different inflections for plural masculine forms, for plural feminine forms, and for dual masculine and dual feminine. Unlike English, which just have one form in all cases, right? In all cases, in the plural masculine we have teachers, in the plural feminine we have again teachers, and in dual masculine and dual feminine we have also teachers, unless you want to specify the number 2. Okay, all right, so now you know the difference um, regarding the gender and number signaling in both Arabic and English. طيب, can you guess which is richer? Which is richer? Is it Arabic morphological system or English morphological system? And you can notice here from this or from this example, just the word معلم, you can observe that or you can tell or predict, مش predict, you can now know that Arabic morphological system is really much more rich than the English morphological system. Alright, so English nouns would be inflected for singular and plural, so we have only two numbers, singular and plural. However, in Arabic, it exceeds with duality, so we have this number which is missing in English, the duality, the dual number, فتاتين, right? ولدين, okay, we have this number which is missing in English. So Arabic nouns have three numbers, singular, dual, and plural, inflected for both feminine and masculine, femininity and masculinity. This means that we would have singular feminine and singular masculine. We have معلمة and معلم. We have dual feminine and dual masculine. We have plural feminine and plural masculine, right? As we saw in the previous example of معلم, the word معلم, the noun معلم, alright? So the plural is also of two kinds in Arabic, talking about Arabic. Sound plural and broken plural. What is the difference between them? The difference is sound اللي هو اللي احنا عارفينه كلنا اللي هو السالم, you know, المذكر, جمع المذكر السالم وجمع المؤنث السالم. يعني ايه برضو, what is the meaning of السالم or sound plural? It means that it has regular inflection, regular suffix, right? Like for example, معلم, we said معلمون, so we add this un with the or معلمين according to the case. هنشوف in a while, we will see what is the meaning of case marking أو الحالة الإعرابية. Okay, so we have this un or at for feminine, so this is regular, like sound plural equals the regular form of plural. Okay, however broken plural, this is the other type. Broken means جمع التكسير. Okay, like for example the word شباك. How are you going to pluralize the noun شباك? It's not gonna be شباكات, for example, or شباكون. Okay, it would be شبابيك. Okay, so here is جمع التكسير. You don't have this inflection of un or at, but the pluralizing the word here is completely different. Okay, and you can get more examples, جمع التكسير or broken plural. Okay, so talking about gender, we have three genders in English: masculine, feminine, and neuter. However, gender in English is only limited to personal pronouns. Okay, which means that you cannot determine from the word form whether it is masculine or feminine. Okay, Actually, the gender in English, as we will see in a while, is called natural gender. Okay, so this is because the femininity or masculinity, or whether the word is neuter, inanimate, جماد, would be determined uh, according to the real gender, the natural gender of the entity, of the thing itself. Is it really a woman? Is it really feminine, female? Is it really a male? Is it really an inanimate object or something that is not alive? Okay, so here we will have this three genders, or these three genders in English: masculine, feminine, and neuter. And you cannot tell, as we said, from the word form. يعني in Arabic, for example, we have only masculine and feminine, and you can tell from the form itself, the form of the noun or the form of the adjective, whether it is masculine or feminine. For example, here you have female teacher. The word teacher here, okay, let me point at it. The word teacher here does not have any kind of inflections that tell you whether it is male or female, unless you add the word female. Okay, but without the word female, you cannot tell whether it is a female teacher or a male teacher. However, in Arabic, we have here the word or the noun معلمة, and here you can determine based on the form only whether the word is female or male. Okay, because you have here ta'nif. This is a mark or the inflection that specify whether the word is masculine. It specifies here femininity of the word. Okay, however, in English you don't have this feature of being able to identify from the form. Only you have this available only in pronouns, personal pronouns. You can tell from the word he that this is a male. You can tell from the word she. This is exclusive to female. This is a female form, and this is neuter form. Okay. Alright, so did you get this point? This will come now let's get an idea about the difference between natural gender and grammatical gender. English actually is a natural gendered language, whereas Arabic is a grammatical gendered language. What is the meaning of this? A grammatical gender system uses inflections to indicate whether a reference gender is masculine, feminine, or neuter. Okay, so let's put it simply. You determine whether the word or the noun in Arabic or the adjective is masculine or feminine based on the form, as we saw in the example معلمة. We have here a sign, an inflection that indicates or that mark the femininity of the word. Okay, طبيبة. Okay, the word kitab here is it masculine or feminine? It is masculine, though in English it would be neuter. The word book is neuter because it is an inanimate object, جماد, right? So it is really it. Okay, it is neither he nor she, it is it. However, in Arabic it is هذا كتاب. Okay, هذا كتاب, translated in English to it is a book, right? So this is the difference between natural gender, I mean the real gender, okay, of the object or of the thing or of the entity, whether it is really male or really female, really neuter in real life. Okay, the word sun, it is in Arabic هذه شمس. Okay, so this is feminine. هذه only refers to feminine. objects, refer to feminine things in Arabic. However, in English, the real state or gender state of son is it, because it is really inanimate. So this is the natural gender. Okay, one more thing to add about the natural gender and the grammatical gender is that Arabic is not the only grammatical gendered language. Many Indo-European languages, other than English, use actually or are grammatical gendered languages, um, like for example French and Spanish and German. Okay, for those who study French and for those who study German, they probably know this feature. That here, for example, we have the word le livre, which means book, and which is in English should be referred to as it, but here it is masculine actually in French. And in German we have the word girl or the girl, meaning in German das Mädchen, and das is used here because Mädchen or girl in German is categorized as a neuter gendered noun. All right. So English has actually few words of which you can identify gender via inflection, and these are very few set of words, like for example actor and actress. Also we have waiter and waitress, and many or a few other words. All right, so let's talk about um, the third element, which words are or get inflected for. The words or Arabic words in particular are inflected for three cases: nominative, which is al-marfu'a, accusative, al-mansub, and genitive, al-majrur. Okay, whereas English is inflected for, or English nouns are inflected for only genitive case, which is in English here is the possessive case or apostrophe s, and this is the only kind of inflection or case marking in English. Okay, so here you can figure out or you can observe the difference between English and Arabic with respect to case marking or الحالة الإعرابية or الإعراب. Okay, so case inflections examples in Arabic and English. What is case ending in Arabic? Okay, what is meant by this in the first place? The case endings are actually little markings, what we call diacritics, as you know, or harakat, that are attached to the ends of words to indicate the word's grammatical function. Okay, so in Arabic we can only know the function of the word via the diacritics or via the case marking, or these harakat, whether رفع ضم ضم نصب أو جر. So in these markings or these diacritics or these harakat identify the function of the word. So what is the function? Remember the function. What do we mean by function? Function is the function of the word is whether it is a subject, maybe an object. Okay, so this could be identified by the harakat. Okay, so let's have an example or of examples in Arabic in particular, because Arabic is inflected for three cases as we mentioned before. So what about the nominative and accusative and genitive? So nominative or المرفوع, this is an example. Of course you know in Arabic that الفاعل مرفوع، المفعول طبعا منصوب، and you know المجرور بحرف جر for example, and المجرور في in other cases. Okay, طيب let's have an example in each case. Here we have ذهب الولد إلى المدرسة. Okay, so here you notice that الولد is inflected, is nominative, it has the nominative case, it is مرفوع okay, because it is the subject here. ذهب, who went to school, it is الولد, the boy. So ذهب الولد إلى المدرسة, the boy went to school. So the boy here is the subject, and it is inflected, or it has the رفع حالة, the case of رفع, okay, it is nominative case. The accusative case or المنصوب or حالة النصب, right? Here you know that the most famous example is المفعول به, right? Though there are other functions that are that have the accusative case, but let's here have the object as an example here as a model. So حضروا اللقاء. حضروا اللقاء. اللقاء here is the object. It has the accusative case. It has the object function, and therefore it is accusative. It has the accusative case, and it is marked by al-fatha. They attended the meeting. All right. What about the genitive? As we said, it is المجرور في المكتبة. في المكتبة here in the library. المكتبة is genitive. It has the genitive case, and the mark here is al-kasra. Okay. These are the three cases in Arabic versus only one case in English, which is the genitive case, the possessive, only the possessive case, which is marked by the apostrophe s. All right. So let's have a look at the errors. طبعا هنا we are first describing, remember the systematic steps of the comparison, or in any comparison we need to describe first. After the selection we have the description. Okay, so we selected here the morphology, okay, or morphological inflections or case markings, and then let's go to we have actually talked about the description, okay, and then of course the description here is like summarized. This is not everything, okay. The description, it needs to be more detailed, as you know. Okay, but here just we are like having just an idea about the English and Arabic morphology and syntax. So here we have the error. We can predict the kinds of error that would be committed or made by the Arab learners of English due to this kind of difference between the two systems morphologically speaking. In English we say teacher, which goes for feminine and masculine, and teachers, which goes for dual plural for feminine and masculine at the same time, as we said before. So teachers is just plural, okay, no matter of the femininity or no matter of the gender specification here. It just is used for in all cases, right? In all cases, whether it is feminine or masculine. Okay, if you want to specify, you have to add a female teacher or a male teacher. If you want to specify to the duality, you have to add the number 2, so 2 teachers. Okay, this is in English. Therefore, Arab students learning English may not use English plural nouns correctly. Okay, they would have some problems related to English plural nouns, because the two systems are different. Rather, they use numbers to indicate a duality or plurality. Let's examples. Here, the following are examples. They may say the two children are crying. Okay, because in English, as we said, they don't have the dual number. So for Arabs, they want to specify the number of, or the dual number here. Therefore, they would say the two. The two what? The two child. Okay, they won't use the plural form. After that, they will just use the singular form. So the two child. They might. This is a common error that is made by Arab learners, the two child instead of children or the two children. Okay, others may use the noun after members or sorry numbers, because in Arabic a singular noun is used after like the number or numbers after 10 numbers. Okay, طيب this is an example here. إحدى عشر طالب. طيب let's translate this into English. 11 what? Are we going to say 11 student? No, it is 11 students. 11 students. And as you see here in Arabic we have 11, but we use the singular noun here, طالب, not 11 طلاب, like in English. In English we say 11 or 12 or 13 or whatever, 21, whatever number after 10. Okay, we say a blah blah, whatever number, like 13 for example, 13 students. Okay, 18 teachers. Okay, and so on and so forth. So this is again a kind of difference between both systems regarding the number. Okay, or the number inflections. Thus, the beginner Arab students learning English may say, you can expect this. He would say, like بالضبط, like literal translation of 11 طالب. Okay, he would say 11 students rather than 11 students. Okay, he has 11 cousins instead of he has 11 cousins. There are 21 students in my class instead of there are 21 students in my class. So these are incorrect forms. These are incorrect. Okay, these are wrong. Okay, these are the mistakes that the Arab learner would probably do. So instead of 11 cousins or 21 students, which are the correct forms, English forms here. Okay, now we are talking about the again we're still talking about nouns. Okay, we've first talked about the inflections. Okay, nouns inflections probably, and that they are inflected for number, case, and gender. Here we are talking about again this countable and uncountable. It is related to number, actually related to number. Okay, singularity and plurality, but here we have the countable and the uncountable numbers or nouns. So there are certain words in English which are classified as uncountable nouns, like, as you know, information. We cannot say informations. Money, damage, housework and equipment, and much other words like furniture, for example, and so on and so forth. So these numbers are uncountable. They do not simply take S, the regular plural sign or mark of English or inflection, the S marking. They don't take this S. Okay, so but they can be counted in Arabic. This is a difference. Okay, this is an opposition here. Though these nouns are uncountable in English, however, these same words are countable in Arabic, in our language. Okay, so we say معلومة and معلومات. Okay, and so on and so forth. So information for Arab learners is countable. In their language معلومة is countable. Okay, so therefore this would lead to again mistakes or errors regarding the use of regarding the use of the correct form, actually. Okay, whether countable or uncountable. So Arab learners of English tend to pluralize them and use plural verbs after them. They would say informations, they would say monies, maybe, they would say equipments, and so on. Also, I want to point out to something else, which is here he said, and use plural verbs after them. What does this mean? plural verb. As long as you as Arab learner specified information or informations, which is the wrong form that would be used probably by the Arab learner, consider you used the form informations. After it, you are going to say is or are. You are going to say are because you pluralized it incorrectly, right? So you will say informations are useful, okay? So this is the meaning of plural verbs after them. This is based on pluralizing the uncountable noun in the first place, okay? So this is like a consequence of this step. Alright then, this is another point that we are going to talk about here, which is related to prepositions. Prepositions is a very, very important issue and very important kind of problem that meet or encountered by Arab learners. We as Arab learners always, all the time, we are facing problems regarding the use of prepositions. Which preposition are we going to use here? So why is this problem? This is actually because the number of prepositions in Arabic is limited compared to that in English. Okay? So here we know that the numbers of prepositions or the prepositions that we have in Arabic since we were in school, we know them quite well. Okay, we know that it is من إلى عن على في الباء الكاف اللام. These are the prepositions that we have in Arabic. Okay, as you see here, من always is translated into from, known as from. من يعني from, يعني for Arab learners they would know that من is from. إلى to, عن about, على on or over, probably on كمان is more used than over. Be, by or with, li, of or for, okay, and في, in or into. This is the literal translation of every Arabic preposition. In English, there are, look at and concentrate on this number, we have 150 prepositions. So see the difference? Here we have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have only 7 Arabic prepositions compared to 150 prepositions in English. And you can guess at once that this would be much problematic for Arab learners. So the problems in using English prepositions for Arab students learning English result from 2 factors. Now he's specifying these 2 factors, or the ones who conducted this study. They specify 2 factors that cause the problem. So here are the reasons that causes actually the problems for or in the usage of prepositions for Arab learners in particular, and even for English speakers who are trying to learn Arabic language. So the first reason is that not every Arabic preposition has a definite equivalent in English and vice versa. Okay, this means that not every Arabic preposition or English preposition has an equal or an equivalent. An equivalent means that a word or a preposition that exactly means the same thing. Okay, for example, the preposition in, and let me highlight it for you. The preposition in, for example, here, okay, it doesn't necessarily means in Arabic or the Arabic fi. Okay, in does not necessarily mean the same word fi. Okay, we know that in by default in is fi. Okay, but when you say, for example, he interested in. He is interested in Arabic language. Okay, in here does not mean في. Okay, if we translated it into Arabic, هو مهتم بي, actually not في القراءة, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as في. They're not equivalents, not totally equivalents. Okay, sometimes in happens to mean في, and sometimes not. Okay, I might say the books are in the box. Okay, so the books are in the box. الكتب في الصندوق. So here it means في, but I'm interested in learning Arabic language. So here in does not, أنا مش معناها I إن أنا, they are not equivalents. Okay. So secondly, not every English or Arabic preposition has definite usage and meaning. What does this mean? It means that the preposition meaning would differ according to the context that it is mentioned in. Um, by the context I mean the accompanying words. Okay, like I said, the example in that we mentioned before, the books are in here means في, and I'm interested in here it has another meaning. So coming after interested, right, like gave another or lead to another meaning. Okay, and sometimes with proverbs or idioms, you see that prepositions collocates with verbs or with nouns or whatever, and they gave another meaning other than their known meaning. Okay, like the preposition up, for example. Up means فوق, right, as we know. However, if we used it with fed, I say fed up, I'm fed up with, and with again here. So I'm fed up with here means I'm bored of something. I'm fed up with this book. I'm fed up with this movie. I'm fed up with this condition. So here up does not mean full, right? It is as a package, as a whole, as one unit, it means something else. So the preposition, or the meaning of the preposition would differ greatly, or would be based greatly on the context or the accompanying words or the collocations that it is accompanying or comes with. Okay, so this is the meaning of the second reason. Alright, here we have Arab students learning English sometimes make the following errors in using English prepositions. So what are these kinds of errors? And we've mentioned the preposition in, okay, and we said that interested in, remember, we will say interested with. Okay, أنا مهتم بي, because in Arabic we know that with is equivalent to be, and we say أنا مهتم بي. Okay, so we use with, automatically we use with, and this is an error. We should use in. Okay, so this is one example. So let's here classify the kinds of errors. Okay, the first kind of error is unnecessary insertion. Unnecessary insertion means that we simply insert or use a preposition at a location or at a place where we're not supposed to use one at all. It should be zero preposition at this location. Okay, so the use prepositions, they here stands for, and let me point. Okay, so they here stands for or refers to what? To whom? To the Arab learners, right? So they use prepositions with words which do not actually need prepositions at all. So an example, I will practice on making the exercises. Okay, I will practice on. So here this is incorrect. I shouldn't use on here. What they did actually, or what the speaker did actually, is that he inserted on, because in Arabic we say أنا أتدرب على. Okay, so he literally translated على by inserting the preposition on, which is incorrect, because in English we just say I will practice doing the exercises, not I will practice on. So what he did is that he literally translated the Arabic version of the uh, sentence, practice on. Okay. The second kind of error is omission of necessary preposition, which is the opposite of the first kind. The first type was inserting an unnecessary preposition. Okay, the place does not require a preposition, and the speaker insert a preposition. Here it is the opposite. This location or this place requires a preposition, and the Arab learner or the Arab speaker would omit it. طيب, let's have this example, which is I waited the bus 2 hours, which is literally لقد انتظرت الحافلة لمدة ساعتين أو لساعتين, right? انتظرت الحافلة أو انتظرت الأتوبيس, okay, أو الحافلة باللغة العربية, right? So here in Arabic we don't insert a preposition, and the speaker did or translated literal, or get like the a literal translation of the Arabic version, okay, which is again incorrect, because a preposition is required here. The verb wait requires a preposition after it in this location or in this context or in this kind of sentence, okay. I waited for something, or I wait for you, right? So we don't say احنا في العرب in Arabic we say أنا أنتظرك, لقد انتظرتك, right? We don't say whatever equivalent for إليك مثلا أو whatever. We don't insert any preposition in the Arabic version, صح? Alright, so this is the difference, and this is why the error has taken place. Here we have the omission, which is opposite to the insertion type. Let's have a look at the third type, which is wrong substitution. Substitution means that a preposition is used instead of another one, okay. طيب, let's have a look at an example. Okay, the most famous one is interested in that we've mentioned before. So we say typically we use the preposition with instead of in. طيب, other examples are ashamed from, which is equivalent to أنا خجول من, okay. أو مكسوف من, صح, حتى في in colloquial Arabic, okay, we say مكسوف من, okay. So من is literally translated to from, which is again incorrect, because in English we say ashamed of, not from, okay. Composed from, يتكون من, ده برضو literal translation, which is again incorrect. We say composed of or of, right? So composed of and ashamed of, not from. طيب, object on, we say يعترض على, okay, in English. So that's why we use on in English, which is incorrect again. We should say object to something, okay, not object on. And blame on, okay, بنقولها ايه in Arabic? We say ألوم عليك, okay, أو ألومك, alright. So we either use the preposition or use a wrong, either delete the preposition. لو قلت ألومك, okay, I blame you, صح. This is in case it is used as a verb. I blame you. It is alright to say I blame you, for this action. um, However, if used, I have a blame, so I have a blame for, okay, I blame you for, not I blame you on. Okay, so this is how it should be, not أنا بلوم. هي طبعا هنا is literally translated as ألوم عليك, which is wrong, and I say the correct form is, we should say I blame you for something, for this action or so. Okay, so we should say ashamed of, composed of, object to, blame for, interested in. So this is the idea of or the error due to substitution, wrong substitution, again based on native uh, the native language. Okay, so here is a negative transfer. If you remember from last lesson, we said negative transfer in opposition to positive transfer. Okay, so when I say, for example, زي ما قلنا the books are in the box. In Arabic it is fi, so this is a positive transfer, not a negative one. Okay, however, in all these kinds, the three kinds of errors or preposition errors, whether by insertion or omission or substitution, these are categorized as negative transfer rather than positive. Okay, because it has an interference issue, or the native language interferes and cause errors for the Arab speakers. So the misuse of the preposition with instead of in the above example occurs because it is equivalent to the Arabic preposition be, which indicates the meaning of with, as we mentioned. And here are more examples. As you see, errors in the use of prepositions made by the Arab ESL learners or English as a second language learners. Okay, here are a couple of more examples. He jumped on the wall. It should be he jumped over the wall. Again, literal translation. This is related to substitution. It's neither insertion nor deletion. It is substitution, right? Okay, we again literal translation. لقد قفز على الحائط. Okay, so on the wall, it should be over the wall, not on the wall. We sat on the table. It should be at the table, not on the table. I will come in 7 o'clock. في السابعة في الساعة 7. هقابلك في الساعة 7. Okay, so it should be at, not in 7 o'clock. Okay, I like to pick roses with many colors. Okay, in Arabic بألوان كتيرة أو بألوان متعددة. Right, should be of many colors, not with. He died from hunger. In حتى colloquial Arabic you say مات من الجوع. Okay, من. Okay, however this is incorrect. In English it should be died of hunger. Okay, we have lived in Doha from 1975. Again, من سنة كذا, برضو literal translation. This is incorrect. It should be since 1975. And last but not least, we have this example. One from my brothers is a doctor. Again, literal translation. واحد من إخواتي or أخواتي or إخوتي هو طبيب. So it should be, instead of from, it should be of. Right? So these are important examples that you should take into consideration, and all of them, as you notice, they are related to or classified as substitution, the last type we've talked about. Okay, so here is Another issue, which is again very important and causes much problem for or problems for the Arab speakers or Arab learners or ESL learners, um, the misuse of definite article. Okay, let's see how does this happen. So Arabic has one definite article, which is the, which is al. Okay, al consists of two letters طبعا اللي احنا عارفينهم, the al. Okay, it is sequestered to the beginning of nouns or attached to the beginning of nouns and their adjectives. الولد الجميل, الولد الذكي. Okay, here this is the definite article, and this is the only article that we have in Arabic. Okay, however, in Arabic there are no, as we said, it is the only article that is existent in Arabic. This means that we wouldn't have an equivalent to the indefinite article that is already found in English, because in English we have two types of articles. We have the definite article and, which is the, and the indefinite article, which is a or an. Okay, so this is indefinite and this is not existent in Arabic. So we have either an article or no article. This is in Arabic, either an article or no, either walad or al-walad. There is nothing, there is no equivalent to the indefinite article. Okay, however in English we could have a, an as indefinite articles, and the as a definite article, or zero article. Okay, okay, the definite article is redundantly, okay, used by Arab learners of English. Okay, redundantly used, it means that it is used frequently, all the time, without need, even if this word does not require an article before it. Okay, or maybe need an indefinite article. Okay, so the Arab speaker just use redundantly means so much he just resort to using the definite article all the time. Okay, alright, so the definite article is redundantly, this is the meaning of redundantly, okay, used by Arab learners of English with nouns that need the definite article instead in Arabic but not in English. Okay, yani these or the words that would need a definite article in Arabic, they just overgeneralize. Okay, they overgeneralize and they use the definite article all along. Okay, there are three types of errors in the use of articles by the Arabic speaking students. Let's see what are these three types. So we had three types with respect to what? Before we've talked about the prepositions. So we had three types of errors that take place for Arab learners: the insertion of a preposition, the deletion of a preposition in a place where a preposition is needed in English, and the substitution, the wrong or incorrect substitution of prepositions. Here again we have three types, but related to the definite article. Okay, the usage of definite article. Okay, so here is the first kind of error that is related to the use of articles, and that is the deletion of the definite article. Okay, deletion of the definite article. So we are supposed to have a definite article and the Arab learner just delete them or delete it. Okay, so it is, for example, we have an example here: arms of soldiers are guns and daggers. Arms of soldiers is supposed to be translated into, or the correct form should be the arms of soldiers, not arms of soldiers. This is because, what is the reason of this error? Why did the Arab speaker say arms of soldiers, not the arms of soldiers? Because if you considered the Arabic version of this sentence, you will say أسلحة الجنود. أسلحة الجنود, not الأسلحة الجنود. It is أسلحة الجنود. So أسلحة الجنود, as you see here, it doesn't have it doesn't have تعريف, it doesn't have definite article right? So this is what happened. Actually, the Arab learner has a literal translation of the Arabic version. أسلحة الجنود, arms of soldiers, where it's supposed to have a definite article. The arms or arms of soldiers should be preceded by the. It is definite here. Okay, so this is the cause of the error. The kind of error is the deletion of definite article. The cause of error is that in الإضافة, okay, which is the genitive case in Arabic, we don't use we don't use أداة التعريف we don't use definiteness, okay, because by nature or by default the حالة الإضافة, the case of genitive or the genitive case is by nature is معرفة. Okay, we typically say كتاب أحمد. Okay, كتاب أحمد. Here we have the genitive case. Okay, or the possessive case. You can say the possessive case. Okay, كتاب أحمد. We don't say الكتاب أحمد. صح? We say كتاب أحمد. We say غطاء الطاولة. Okay, which should be translated in English into what? Into the book of Ahmed, right? And the cover of the table. Okay, we don't say cover of the table, we say the cover of the table and the book of Ahmed, right? So you notice here that we used the definiteness in the English version. However, we are not using the definiteness or أداة التعريف with the nouns or in genitive case or possessive case in Arabic. Okay, so this is what happened here. Arms of soldiers, the book of Ahmed, it's the book of Ahmed, it's not book of Ahmed, though in Arabic it is كتاب أحمد غطاء الطاولة. In English, the book of Ahmed and the cover of the table. Alright, so this is the difference or the cause of the error here of the deletion of the definite article. Alright, so here we have the deletion, another type of error, the second type. We said we have three types. The first is what is deletion of the definite article, okay, in places where a definite article is needed in English. Okay, here we have deletion of the indefinite article a, and this is quite clear. The reason of this is quite clear. As we mentioned before, in Arabic we don't have the concept of indefinite article. We either have an article or not, either have a definite article al or nothing at all, but we don't have indefinite article. So that's the reason for Arab learners to constantly delete the indefinite article. Okay, so here for example we have my father works in bank, and of course you know that this is incorrect because it should be in a bank, not in bank, right? And again, what happened here is the Arabic version of this sentence should be what? أبي يعمل في بنك, right? Just we don't use any article. We just use the indefinite article in English, and in Arabic we don't use anything at all. So this is what lead to the error by Arab learners. They are affected by their native tongue, and here this is again negative transfer or interference. Okay. Okay, this is another and the third type of errors that is related to definite article or usage. This is wrong insertion of the. So Arab students tend to use the before nouns which are not normally preceded by this definite article in English. Okay, so in English sometimes we don't just insert an article before the noun. However, Arab Arab speakers tend to use and overuse the definite article the. Okay, so for example, before the names of diseases, names of days, we don't use the in English. However, an Arabic user or an Arabic speaker would probably use the, okay, because in his native tongue or in his native language or her native language, they tend to use the in the Arabic version of the word. For example, the word or the name of the disease diabetes. Okay, diabetes هو مرض السكر. Okay, so we السكر. Okay, so in English we don't say the diabetes, we just say diabetes. Okay, so this is what happens. They just copy the same form of having, or the same situation of having al, the definite article in Arabic, and they copy it to the English word. Also the names of days, for example, we say Wednesday, we say Friday. However, in Arabic we say يوم الجمعة, الجمعة, الأربع, right? We don't say أربع أو جمعة. It is always used with the al attached to the word. Okay, so it is al-Jum'a, al-Talit, and so on and so forth. Okay, and in many idiomatic expressions, also abstract words, okay, referring to ideas, properties, or qualities. So we say مثلا الغضب. Okay, so in English we would say anger. Okay, anger shouldn't control you. Okay, in Arabic this would be al-ghadab. Let's observe some more examples with the Arab learners inserting or incorrectly inserting the definite article the. Okay, so here we have the happiness doesn't come from the money, and it is supposed to be happiness doesn't come from the money, as the Arab speaker usually say in his native or her native language would say as-sa'ida. Alright, not sa'ida, they would say al-sa'ida. So they copy the al, the definite article, that التعريف, they copy it to the English sentence, or the English word here, to precede actually the English word, the abstract noun happiness. Okay, so what is the meaning of abstract in the first place? So abstract means something that you cannot hold in your hand, something that is not tangible, that you cannot touch. Okay, like emotions, like ideas. Okay, these you cannot touch. Happiness is not touchable, right? People can work in the agriculture or in the industry. Again, here the industry is wrong insertion of the article the. It is supposed to be in industry. He went to the Doha. Okay, again here the name of this country is not supposed to be preceded by the definite article the. and there is again a copy from Arabic al-Doha. Okay, but this is of course wrong. Okay, he is still in the bed. It is supposed to be he is still in bed without the. Again, a literal translation from Arabic, al al-firash. Okay, he is still in the bed. Okay, and this is again wrong insertion of the definite article. My father suffers from the cancer. Here, this is a name of a disease that is not supposed to be preceded by the definite article. Okay, it's supposed to be from cancer right away. He was filled with this sadness. Again, here this is an abstract noun like happiness, so that should be deleted. And in Arabic, it is there. The definite article or adat al-ta'rif is there. That's why the Arab speaker made this mistake. He studies the music. Okay, we say in Arabic al-musiqa. So again, this is what happens. A literal translation or a literal copy of the definite article that to English, which is again incorrect. It's supposed to be he studies music right away without the insertion. He works in the agriculture. يعمل في الزراعة. So here the definite article is wrongly or incorrectly inserted before agriculture. It is supposed to be he works in agriculture. When the evil comes, people will die. Again, this is an abstract noun, and we say in Arabic عندما يأتي الشر, and الشر is abstract noun. It has the definite article al-adat al-ta'rif in Arabic, and people or the Arab speaker tend to copy it in English, which is incorrect. Again, it is supposed to be when evil comes, people will die. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next lesson, inshallah.